Cade's dead. Hey, kid. How you living? Call me Drifter. Put aside your dogma. A fight that's coming can't be won with light alone. It's time to ditch the light, good, dark, bad dogma. Folks are finally starting to see it. I've been getting ready for the end since the day I was born. Now get out there and crack some skulls.
Welcome to the Hyperfixation, where we invite our friends onto our show to tell us about what they're excited about so we can acquire an approximate knowledge of many things. My name is Kingdom, and I use he, him pronouns, and today we got a second guest.
Hello, it's me, it's Romi Baloney. I use the they and them pronouns, and today I'm here to learn.
And other guest.
Hello, I go by UnStuffed Crust usually online, but you can just call me Alex. I use he, him pronouns.
And what are we talking about today, Alex?
I'm here to talk about my crippling addiction.
Bruh.
My 2,500 hour addiction over what was it, 6 years, I think? That's Destiny 2, baby. The Squeakquel.
Bruh. That's so many hours.
Alex is my buddy, and I've known him for a long time. I
Too
don't know
long.
shit about Destiny.
You know a little bit. You've played.
I've played a little bit, but the game's expensive, and
Just a little bit.
But Alex is on his own, just started to just ramble about Destiny stuff for a while. I'm like, you'd be a pretty good fit for this show.
Yep.
And Romy, you have some Destiny experience, right?
I played the fuck out of Destiny 1. I do have a Cade 6 figurine in my house. I absolutely loved it. I played the shit out of it up until what was it? It was the Red King. I can't remember. It's been so long.
That
Something
sounds like the
King.
Taken King.
Taken King. Yeah, I played through Taken King and then whatever DLC they had that came out after that.
Mm-hmm.
I did not play because long story short, the boyfriend I was with, who I played Destiny with, we split up, and so that meant I also broke up with Destiny. So I've healed. I'm a new person.
Destiny
So
was
I'm
collateral
ready.
damage.
It was collateral damage. I lost the kid in the divorce.
That's okay.
So, but I absolutely loved it. I didn't get into Destiny 2, so I'm very excited to see the changes and what became of my beloved franchise that I lost in the court.
What's your experience with Destiny, Alex?
All right. So I actually have never played Destiny 1. I had all the consoles to play it. I don't know why I ever just decided not to. I think at the time I only had a PlayStation and did not have an Xbox, and I had a Red Dead Redemption cowboy phase. I just forgot about Destiny. But
We
it
all
was a game.
we all have a Red Dead cowboy phase.
I'm still kind of
I
going
did.
through it.
Yeah,
I didn't have one.
not
What?
yet.
Not yet.
Oh, it came late with the gender DLC. Got it.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a game I used to watch on YouTube a lot and be like, wow, that game looks really cool, but none of my friends would ever play that, so I just never played it. Then I added on to it.
Yeah.
But then Destiny 2 came out and it was on PC, and I was like, holy moly, that's awesome. I'm gonna play it on computer. And I played it. I've basically been playing consistently every expansion, every season is what they do now, where it's over the year they do a yearly expansion, and then over the year they do seasons where they're okay, here's a new little activity to do, grind some weapons and get some story, and they lead into each other. And I played basically all of those. There's one or two that I never finished.
So you're a Destiny 2 brain.
Yeah, a lot of useless knowledge up in here. If you gave me the name of a gun, I could probably tell you what it is in this game.
Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, they're all named differently. Michael's Reverence. It's not spelled like actual Michael, but it's funny. And oh yeah, that's a sidearm that just came out. But I can like name off some old stuff too. It's bad. It's a problem.
It's a problem.
It's a problem.
Do we want to do a timer, or do we want to just get right into it?
Well, so I feel like I have questions. Please hold. Well, okay. So we did establish that you two are old friends, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So how long have you known each other again?
We met probably around the time when I moved to this area, so 12 years, probably.
Yeah. I think about 12, maybe 13.
Yeah, we homies.
Yeah, we homies. We fish.
We fished yesterday. We went fishing.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful, honestly.
We only lost like 3 weights that day.
You know what? Sometimes you don't catch any fish and you just get your hook lost in a tree, but that's fine. You know what?
Yeah.
It's about the experience.
You know, I thought you were fishing with the sword in the game.
Okay. That's what this game's missing, is fishing.
It's the one thing Destiny doesn't have.
If Nier Automata has fishing, why doesn't Destiny 2 have fishing?
That's because you have to focus on the guns too much.
You can get a fish gun.
If Warframe has fishing, Destiny should have fishing.
Hold on, let me see if we got a fish gun in here.
Does Mass Effect have fishing?
No.
You can take care of fish.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
cool.
can. You have a fish tank, but
Cool. Where do you get the fish from?
you buy them.
Oh.
We'll get there. That'll be next episode.
Oh, God.
We'll talk about Mass Effect fish.
Yeah. I mean, we could just let you go off on stuff about Destiny if we have no more questions.
Are you ready to pop off?
I mean, I guess so. I could just kind of go off on like what type of game it is, yada yada yada.
Yeah, you do that, and I'll just interrupt you with questions.
Yeah, we'll interrupt you all the time.
Okay, that's fine. I'm used to it. I've been friends with this guy long enough. He does it all the time.
I do.
So Destiny 2 is a first person with a slight amount of third person shooter by Bungie. The people who made Halo, obviously. And Pathways in the Darkness and Marathon.
Oh yeah, we could get into that rabbit hole later if we want.
That's a different episode.
That's a lot.
And like the kind of the Bungie hallmark, I would say, is from Halo into this is that they make guns that feel really good to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Like running around in this game, going to a patrol zone, which is like you could think of as like an MMO area to just like walk around, just to shoot things. And you pop them in the head, and their head makes a funny noise when you shoot them in the head. And you're like, oh man, the chemicals in my brain make me feel good.
Ooh wee.
And that's the game.
What initially brought you into the game?
My crippling MMO addiction, probably. And it's like an MMO light, I guess. Kinda. It's a looter shooter, but like not like Borderlands, where it's like a constant kind of like continuous arc of like there's always a little bit of improvement, like that Paragon system. It's like you hit a point where you're like, okay, I'm just grinding this gun from this thing to get the best version of that gun to make me the best version of myself in the game.
Self-improvement.
Efficiency, optimization, yada yada.
I actively remember the grind, doing the same thing over and over just to have better items.
Yes.
If there's one thing I know about Alex, is he is forever cursed with MMO brain.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Every time you mention any obscure MMO that existed for like a year, he played a shit ton of it.
Yeah, there's some like really bad like mech one that I played a while ago that I played like a little bit of, and I was like, what the hell is this? I could not tell you the name.
So the grind is definitely either a non-factor or a plus.
I got that grind set. You got that grind set, you love Destiny.
Honestly, it just says that you have great dedication and great commitment.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Put it on your resume. You will optimize your tasks to the nth degree for best results.
Mm-hmm. Oh god, don't get me started on that.
My time in WildStar made me a better person.
Shut up! Leave me alone! I legitimately missed that game. That could have been such a good... I don't want to get in the WildStar right now.
But yeah, MMO brain brings you into Destiny. What do you think hooked you into it, aside from like FPS mechanics good because Bungie knows how to make a Halo?
I wouldn't call myself a good at shooter type of person. I don't have like I'm like terrible at like Valorant or like Counter-Strike. I'm not good at Twitch shooters. So this was that game where you can get that good gun feel with just like PvE. I can just go around and kill stuff and be like, oh, look at me. I'm good at this game. On top of it being very more ability based and having builds, which is something you don't see in a lot of like first person shooters anymore.
For people who have never played a Destiny before, what do you got with the classes? MMO light, got classes.
Yeah.
What do we got?
You got your Warlock, which is like your kind of like your wizard or your mage. This being said, all of them can fill certain archetypes of like you're not just like a mage. You can be like a Warlock who punches a lot because there's things that let you do that. You have Titan, which is the punch one. They're like the tank, I would say. They can make like a barrier. I'll start with like Warlock has a thing called a rift where they can put down like a healing rift or one that makes you do more damage. Titan being the tank, they can make a wall that's pretty much has like an HP bar they can hide behind, but you can make a smaller one that you can shoot over and it gives you like buffs when you're near it. And then you have Hunters, and then Hunters are the mobile class, I would say. They're kind of like roguish. They are the slowest, funny enough. But they got a dodge, which is kind of useful, but it's very simple. It's every ability that you use in this game, there's a lot of going from first person to third person and then right back to first person in this game. When you use your ultimate ability or your class ability, you always go third person, which is nice because you can see around you, stuff like that.
Yeah, you're not going to want to be first person when you're doing a roll or something.
I mean, you are most of the time. Raiding in this game's weird.
Are you a raid boy? I forget if you actually do the raids lately.
Oh, no, I do. I've been doing them lately. I've kind of been getting into them. They are... If you've played MMOs before, I still relatively play a lot of Final Fantasy 14. I rated a lot in Final Fantasy 14.
Final Fantasy 14.
Mechanically, that game in the Savage stuff can get pretty intense. In Destiny, it's like, oh my god, that thing's glowing, shoot it, and then like talk to the other guy and be like, can you pick this up and then bring it to me? Which makes sense. Simple. Because you're in an FPS, so it's a lot more intense. You don't have as much visual, like, you can't see as much, yada yada. So if you don't communicate with people, because the raids are 6-man activities, it's either 3 or 6-man stuff in Destiny usually. And it really boils down to, can you communicate with your teammates? Mechanics usually are not very hard at all. It's like pick up a ball, recognize a symbol, and then tell the other guy who can't see the symbol what the symbol is.
For an MMO, if you compare it to other MMOs, you get a lot more like spatial awareness when you have a top-down camera effectively in some like Final Fantasy, where there's a lot of shit going on at once. But if you're first person, like in Destiny, it limits what it's good that they don't do stuff like that, is what I mean.
Yes, for sure. There was a raid, is a raid that is thematically and like story-wise like one of my favorites, because they do some really cool story elements with it, called The Last Wish. And the last encounter is really cool, but really hard and very long. Turns out there's a way where, like, whatever you're fighting, the Ahamkara, which is like a giant dragon, puts its hand down, and the way that there's power creep in the game, that you could just kill it without doing any of the mechanics.
There's a dragon?
Yeah. Oh god, don't make me talk about. I wrote a thing in college about it. I remember doing that.
Oh, you told me about this.
Yeah, people are like, holy shit, dude, that's awesome. And I'm like, oh my god.
You just plagiarized the Destiny raid for an assignment.
No, I changed it up.
You did what?
Okay.
You did what?
Destiny has a thing. The Ahamkara are basically genie dragons. So you get the whole monkey's paw thing. And I basically took the name of it and the idea of doing a monkey's paw thing into like a poem that I had, or short story I had to write for like a horror class.
Bruh. Did you get an A?
Cool. I did.
Hell yeah.
That's all that matters.
I got an S, actually.
Oh, S
hell
rank. Yeah. Super smoking sexy.
That's what they said. He said, you got smoking sexy style. And I said, what are you, Dante?
Professor?
Dante Devil May Cry?
That you? Oh my goodness. So what classes do you normally play, out of curiosity?
I basically mained Warlock most of the time, and the like stereotype is Warlocks are the guys who care about the lore, and that's kind of true. I would find.
That's
but
valid.
Lately I've been playing a lot more Titan because I don't know. I like being tanky. It's nice to have that. I got kind of bored of playing Warlock for like 6 years. I play Hunter a little bit.
I love playing Hunter a lot, at least back in the day, and I would do a little bit of Warlocky stuff, but for the most part, Cade 6 had my heart from the get-go, so I was a Hunter from then on.
We have to disagree on that. One of the major reasons I stopped playing Destiny in Destiny 2 when it came out was I thought Cade 6 was very annoying.
The game suffered from Avengers like writing.
Yeah. I did not like Cade 6.
Wait, in the first game or the second game? Don't
Destiny
remind
2.
me.
I never played the second game. I never played the first game.
Yeah, should I talk about Destiny 2 launch?
He's
Sure.
not dead.
Destiny 2 launch was fucking atrocious. It was so bad.
Yo, let's go.
So, Roma, if you remember, like you have your primary and you have like a special, so you have like a shotgun or something, and then you have like a rocket launcher, like a heavy.
Yeah.
They changed it so it was double primaries So you just had like scout rifles or auto rifles, and then like your heavy was the shotgun or something.
Gross.
They got rid of random rolls, and they were trying to kind of push it. This was when Activision was like really behind the wheel of it. They were trying really hard to push it as like a competitive shooter. So you just have like, so PvP was just like, it felt like it was made for PvP, but even then it wasn't very fun. And it was just bad. There was very little customization. There wasn't too much you could do. And then there was like 2 DLCs that came out after the launch that were like, okay. Curse of Osiris was terrible, actually. That was really bad.
Curse of Osiris? I've never heard of Curse of Osiris.
That was a DLC that came out immediately after launch, like within like 3 months. And
that's crazy.
It was okay.
I've played the game before and I've been around. I've never heard that name before.
Yeah, so everything before Forsaken is just not in the game anymore. You can't play the Red War anymore.
That's probably why.
But the one after that was like, okay, and then Forsaken came out, and Forsaken basically completely fucking turned the game around and saved it. And it's a shame that it had to happen like that, because the way Destiny is now is amazing. Like, Destiny's a really good game. It's really hard to recommend to people, but I'll talk about that later. Forsaken basically brought back the whole, like, oh, you have a special weapon, so you can have a sniper rifle and, like, a rocket launcher as, like, your green ammo. Because that was, like, the worst thing, to be like, I have to just, like, use 2, like, little guns to, like, plink away at enemies and it doesn't feel too good, instead of, like, running up to them with a shotgun and blasting their face off. Forsaken was, because I think they were working with Vicarious Visions at the time.
Who that?
They're just another studio that was, like, under Activision, and they worked with them, but Forsaken was monumentally big for an expansion that this game ever got. It's like 2 maps, a big raid, like, well, that's where Last Wish came from. It was just humongous. But now, going forward, ever since they decoupled from Activision, they're somehow able to get out of their contract, because they're supposed to be a Destiny 3. But they're like, people did not like going from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 and losing all their stuff. So they're like, we'll just keep developing this one now instead. But yeah, the game basically came back from that, and it's been pretty good ever since. And then Lightfall just came out, which a lot of buzz started happening around Lightfall too, because it was like, here comes the expansion that's like gonna be big, kind of like Avengers Endgame. People were comparing it to. It kind of wasn't. It was like, quality of life and gameplay wise, Destiny 2 has never been better. It's intensely customizable. You have 5 subclasses now. You over the time you got 2 dark ones. Strand just came out in Lightfall. You know, Stasis from Beyond Light. There's gonna be a 6th one.
5 subclasses per class.
Yeah. So there's like elements. So you have Solar, Arc, and Void as your light subclasses, which has been in there since Destiny 1. And then Destiny 2, when we got to Beyond Light, you had Stasis, which is like an ice type of power, and Strand is like green string, like silly string. You can think of it like. And I could talk about, like, thematics, like, Void is, like, entropy, Solar is just, like, I don't know, you can just be, like, Solar's fire, basically, and Arc is, like, electricity, obviously, but Void's, like, the weird one. And then Darkness, it's, like, am I gonna start talking about story now? Can I just go off on that?
I mean, you said that you played Warlock, and you filled the stereotype of the Warlock main who is the lore hound.
It's interesting.
That's what I'm here for. Do it now.
Okay, do it.
So, you know how, like, it feels like recently, ever since, like, I want to say, like, 2014, there's been a lot of, like, the light and dark aren't so different type of, like, story stuff.
Yeah, there's been a lot of, like, the way I like to show it is, like, there's been a lot more, the angels are the bad guys kind of thing.
Yes. So, for the longest time, as a Guardian, right, you're paracausal. You have the power...
what?
From paracausal is the ability to... Oh, fuck, I forgot the perfect definition for it. Hold on, let me look it up. So, you know how cause and effect is a thing?
Yeah.
You can make you can skip the cause part and go right to effect.
King Crimson.
Kind of. That's basically
fucking
how
JoJo reference.
Like your powers work.
So
you can be like, I summon a gun made of solar light and shoot you, and you don't need anything to do it. You just do it.
Yeah, because you don't need the reason to do it. You can just do it.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and light is a lot of like foundational elemental stuff like that, and that's like the light, the traveler, who's like the big ball, the Destiny, Mr. Destiny,
the ball in the sky.
Yeah, you got your ghost resident corpse from the dead. There's a thing that's been going on now between the whole light and darkness storyline, which is going to end in the next expansion apparently. So the whole story from like the beginning of Destiny 1 to now will culminate into this ending that's coming.
Oh boy.
So light is like elements, right? So, and the light, when you get resurrected, you lose all your memory. The light is a lot about losing your memory and kind of just going on. And darkness is a lot more mind-based and like memory-based. So like with stasis is like, yeah, it's an ice power, but the way that you kind of like harness it, you have to read like story stuff in the game. You kind of just get it by like talking to some stuff. I don't want to get into that, but
The Traveler gives you it.
no, the Traveler's not give you darkness. The enemy gives you darkness. The Witness, who's like
The Witness. I meant the Witness.
Yes,
That's
the Witness is
The Traveler's
not
the
the
ball.
darkness. I will say that the Traveler and the Witness are not the light or dark. They are just wielders of those forces. That's why like the whole thing was like, oh, the darkness is bad because it's not what we're using type of thing. But darkness is like a coalescence of willpower. Like stasis is exerting absolute control. Therefore, it's like Conqueror's hockey, I guess, where you like stop moving.
Ooh.
You just knock them out.
Yeah, it's like, well, not knock him out. It's willpower basically, and your willpower exuding your willpower is I freeze you.
Yeah.
Strand, which just came out, is another
Death
one
Stranding
of darkness.
reference? I'm
Death
sorry.
Stranding reference.
Yeah.
Death Stranding.
That one is it's a lot. It's like going with the flow type of power, I would say. That's kind of how you like end up harnessing it. It's like the whole storyline through Lightfall. Part of it is like, oh, we're learning how to use Strand. And you're like, man, we keep forcing ourselves to use it and we're like burning ourselves out. And it's like, oh, go with the flow, bro. And you're like, you're fine. You have a training montage. It's actually kind of funny. And like, there's going to be another one. Pretty much 100%. And it can be like two different things that we learn about. A lot of the storyline stuff we had to deal with recently was dealing with nightmares, and which are like, you could think of them like ghosts of people's pasts being manifested in like trauma. There's a lot of like trauma stuff that was happening for a while. And we're thinking that might be the last one. There's also something you could do where if you look at the subclass colors of like the light ones and then just like invert their colors, it's like what the other colors generally are. And it's been right so far for Stasis and Strand. So the next one's either going to be like, it's got to be red just because Solar is already kind of orange.
Yeah.
But there's another one that like a lot of the darkness enemies that you fight use called Resonance that people are thinking about. That might be the next one, but we'll see. I'd like it to be Nightmares just because I am a Shadow the Hedgehog enjoyer and I enjoy the color red.
Shadow the Hedgehog.
Mm-hmm.
Roma, do you have a question? Because I have a question that might lead into a lot.
Honestly, I'm vibing.
Go with the flow.
You know what? I do have a weird question. So I mentioned already that Cade 6 is my favorite without any reasoning whatsoever. Do you have a favorite NPC in this game from 1 or 2?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Just
I
your little
really like
Borbo.
Drifter.
Who's Drifter?
Drifter is a guy who got introduced in Forsaken with a new game mode called Gambit, which is like PvE VP, and he's a little rat man. There's another character. Do you remember Eris Morn, Roma? She had like 3 eyes. Looked like she was constantly crying.
It's been so long. What's her name?
Eris Morn. She was from Taken King, and a little bit before that. We get a picture of her. You might remember her.
Oh, I love her. I remember loving Goth Icon out here.
Yeah, she's got the constant I'm crying and my makeup smearing.
Absolutely.
So her and Drifter are like in a sort of relationship. They definitely flirt, and she refers to him as Rat a lot. And he's like a little rat man.
He's a little rat boy.
He's the original kind of like guy being like, hey, the darkness stuff isn't that bad. It's really just about the wielder.
Darkness? Kind of cool.
Kind of cool. I mean, when you play the game mode, right, that he does, you collect darkness stuff and you dunk it into a thing. It's like basketball.
Darkness basketball?
Kind of. I'm overest or grossly saying it weird. I don't know.
There's a surprising amount of dunking balls in Destiny games.
Yeah, okay. Speaking of, when I talked about raid mechanics, I didn't mention that. A lot of dunking happens in this game.
You pick up a ball and you dunk it through a hoop.
Basically, a lot of the time, it ends up being that for mechanics.
Do you think they like basketball?
No.
No.
It's just a coincidence that's happened at least over 17 times. But anyways.
I was going to ask, we've been through like a lot of like the themes of the powers and everything and characters. What the fuck is happening in Destiny?
Oh boy.
Why is the Earth like that?
So in in the before times. The Golden Age is what it was referred to. Basically, humanity was doing okay for a little while. They were just kind of chilling in the whole universe, and then the Traveler shows up, blesses humanity, and causes the Golden Age. People live longer, technology prospers and flourishes. There were no Guardians at this time. Nothing like that. It's just that technology basically hyper advanced, and a event eventually comes across where the Witness with their fleet of... So, you know how the Traveler is a circle?
Yeah, I posted a picture of the Witness in the Discord channel.
Yeah, the Darkness's shape as triangles. And there's a whole thing to can of worms to unpack, but basically the end goal of the Witness / Darkness most of the time is something called the final shape. We don't technically know what it is, but we have theories that it's just basically like
a square.
Yeah, like the Hive, one of the enemies of the game, is very much about this thing called the sword logic, which is I exert my power over you by killing you, and that makes me just the act of I can beat you and kill you makes me more core to the universe. It's weird to explain it.
Like cosmically more powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's like a whole thing that happens in the Taken King, that expansion that you stopped on, Roma, where the power to take is kind of that thing that Oryx, the bad guy, used when he fought those like weird like black and white like copy pastas of enemies that look like weird looking. Where was I going with that?
The shapes, Darkness is a triangle. Witness shows up.
Causes the collapse. But we didn't really know how it happened, and we're still not completely sure how we didn't get completely wiped out. There's some storylines that happens in the previous expansion, the Witch Queen, where you get a little bit of an idea where one of our like major enemies sort of played her hand in a way to help us and be like, I don't really agree with this guy's plans. Therefore, I'm going to try to pull a one up on him, but kind of worked, kind of didn't. Basically, she's kind of the reason that we were able to slightly survive, but basically the Traveler throughout time had been running from the Witness, going to civilizations, blessing them. The enemies, the Fallen, were one of those civilizations. They were called the Elixni. They are called the Elixni, but they're called the Fallen now because they had their own collapse called the Whirlwind. And they ended up becoming space pirates because they had to flee their planet. And then the Traveler came to us. Never made Guardians anywhere else, by the way. And it's like dying breath, or like its last like pulse that like pushed it away. Released the Ghost, which is like the little dudes, little Dinkle bot from Destiny 1, or I think it's Nolan North now is the voice. Bunch of those guys res you become a Guardian. Just as like a, not exactly an extension of will, but kind of bless you with the power, but you're not like indoctrinated or anything.
So like a Traveler goes around, runs away from the Witness, tries to get people to be strong enough to fight the Witness.
Not necessarily, but it's potentially that, yes.
Okay.
We're not entirely sure why. The Traveler has a whole thing about, you know how I talked about the sword logic?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the final thing is the most powerful thing in the universe and the central thing. The light is more of a bomb logic where the complexity of life will inflict that amount of like strength that the final shape of sword logic got out of what.
God.
Yeah, it's complicated. Destiny's got like books upon books upon books in the game that you can read about this stuff. It's complicated. But yeah, collapse happens. There's a dark age that they call it, where before Guardians were Guardians and they had kind of a centralized kind of like, I don't want to say government, but like coalition where everybody started working together. Warlords were a thing. Everybody kind of just did their own thing and just killed each other. It was bad. And then eventually things kind of got settled. And when you start in Destiny 1, it's pretty much in a settling point, but there's a lot of history about things and events that happened, yada, yada, yada. It's things in Destiny 1 happen. You kill Oryx, which is like basically the biggest thing that happens. Who's like this whole dude. You whoop his son's ass in like the first expansion. And then he's like, you fucked up. I'm coming to your system to kill you. You kill him. And he has this whole like taking power, which is a whole Hive storyline. Hive storyline is really complicated and long, but it's extremely interesting. Also, Oryx is a trans icon. Oryx used to be Oryx, and Oryx was she to he, or female to male.
Ayo.
Yeah.
Ayo.
Basically, Oryx got the power to take, become Taken King, goes around crusades, fucking slaughters everything because like the Hive's whole thing is about we kill you. They also have worms inside them to make them immortal, but it's a constant like it's like a battery where they have to keep killing.
I have worms inside me too.
Everybody's got a little bit of worm in them.
You know
they
how
make
many
pills
brain
for that.
worms I got, man?
How many trolley gummy worms I got in me right now?
Wait, they got worms inside them to make them immortal?
They're immortal, but they have to keep killing or they'll die.
That sounds like Sekiro.
The centipede
You ever-
doesn't require killing in Sekiro, I don't think. But I get you. You drank that. You drank that stank water, and then you kind of got a bug in you.
Yeah.
Worms, you only worm twice.
Yeah.
Worms only worm twice.
Worms can worm whatever they want.
They
dude.
can, is that what worm movement's called? Worming?
It's the shadows died twice.
Oh, shadow. Oh, I gotcha.
was a
worms worm
bad
twice.
My brain went to the worms are their money.
They pull your hair up, but not out.
Worms.
Destiny 2 starts out. The Cabal, which are one of the enemies they are often referred to as space rhinos, show up, and they're like,
That
"Hey,
tracks.
they're like, hey, we want to take the light because we think we're more deserving." They capture Traveler, you lose your light for a bit, you get it back.
Europeans.
Yes, you get, I don't want to say Columbus.
All of them are Columbus.
Yeah, kinda. That happens. There's some other stuff that had Forsaken. Cade dies,
No.
and you go on your whole you go on your yeehaw revenge quest.
Yeehaw revenge.
You get your revenge. You kill the Wish Dragon. What was the one after that? Shadowkeep. Shadowkeep was kind of poopy. Shadowkeep was another one, which is like, hey, this nightmare stuff's happening. That's kind of weird. And you get your first glimpse of the actual pyramids in the darkness, and it's like, oh my god, we're actually seeing kind of not necessarily a face to our enemy, but you get an idea of what they actually look like now.
Mm.
Beyond Light was one of the fallen Elixni named Aramis kind of got hold of stasis in a weird way, and the witness speaks to you at the end of Shadowkeep and is like, hey, by the way, we're on our way and we're gonna help you. We are your salvation, they like to say.
Mm.
And Beyond Light, he basically takes control of your ghost. There's a weird connection between your ghost and the witness in a way that he can kind of take control of the ghost and talk to you. He's like, hey, the light sucks, doesn't it, bro? What if I gave you this cool ice powers and kind of leads you through it? You beat Aramis, and it's like, oh, hey, the line between the thing they like to say is the line between light and dark is very thin. That's a whole the quote they bring up a lot. The guy who killed Cade in that expansion and the story coming after that gets resurrected as a guardian in an irony thing. And
Yikes.
And now you're besties.
You're kind of besties now. He gets taken by this guy who's kind of like a mob boss for the Fallen. And at the end of the season, he's like, "Oh, you helped me out so much. You can have anything in my place." And you point at his name's Olden Saab, but they call him Crow now. And you point at Crow. You're like, "I want him." He's like, "Oh, you little shit." So you take him and you're like, "Hey." He's like, "Why didn't you kill me? Aren't I one of your biggest threats?" He's like, "You're guardian now, man. You chill." There's a whole thing about that.
Hashtag forgiven. Let's go.
Yeah, he's forgiven. It wasn't his fault. He was kind of mind controlled by Riven, which was the boss of the raid. Blah blah blah.
Well, he didn't do anything because Cade. He didn't kill Cade. He's fine.
Yeah, he technically wasn't the one to do it. He's a new person now.
Oh no, Cade didn't die. It's fine.
Oh yeah, he lived.
No, no one did it.
His voice actor was too expensive. That's why they killed him.
Really?
It was somebody big.
Was it Matthew Mercer?
I don't know if it was Matthew Mercer.
If it is Matt Mercer, then that explains a lot.
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion. It's Matthew Mercer, Nathan Fillion, or Nolan North usually.
Those are the three guys.
The big three.
The three white guys.
Cade 6 has a wife and child.
What?
Nathan Fillion's the guy from Castle. He's Castle on Castle.
Destinypedia, Cade 6. Cade's letter fragments in Destiny 2 reveal that Cade had a wife and son whom he nicknamed Ace.
Okay, so Ace is there was a very high implication that this son named Ace isn't even real. The whole thing with Exos, which he the robot guys in the game, the number denotes how many times they've had their brains reset. Because there's some complicated stuff. Technically, Exos are made of Vex, which are the time travel robots. That was revealed in Beyond Light. There's a whole thing where you meet a guy who basically made them. He's a piece of shit. He's mad scientist type. And he's like, yeah, no, I brought him over here and I basically made them, and human bodies kept rejecting them, so I put darkness in them because the darkness memory stuff helps.
Xehanort voice, I put darkness in him.
He's kind of like Xehanort.
Wait, so if you're telling me that Cade 6 means that he's been hard reset 6 times, Is Banshee 44 okay?
So here's the thing, Banshee 44. Actually, no, there is. Banshee 44 is like one of the vendors you still talk to all the time. Technically, he is an iteration of the guy who did all this like exo shit. But like he has a really shitty memory, which is like kind of like his thing, where he's like, were you always standing here, bro? How long have you been here? Like he has a really terrible memory.
He's just not okay.
He's kind of the Doomslayer.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing like the exotics that they started
that's
doing
to drop on you,
right? So there's a sword that you get that's a chain sword, exotic chain sword that's like really fun. It's called Banshee's Lament.
Sword man. Sorry.
Yeah. So a lot of the times it happened, the guy's name was Clovis Bray, who made the Exos. There was a whole storyline that you kind of learn about where he would send a bunch of these Exos through the Vex portal to go to their planet and fuck shit up and like try to stop them, and he was just really fucking good at it. And then he got a chainsword, and it's like a whole like thing where it's like when the Vex hear the fucking noise of the chainsword, they get freaked out and scared.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So I'm looking through the character list.
Mhm.
Arcite 9940, is he okay?
Wait, what was it?
Arcite 9940. He's the Crucible Quartermaster in the tower.
That is just a robot. That's different.
Okay.
There's like little like you can think of them like Star Wars droids, I guess.
Okay.
They're different, yeah. But Shax is the original.
There's a couple of 9940s.
Yeah, they're like a series of just like one of them's like the postmaster. It's just a robot who helps you with your mail if you like missed a drop or something.
Ah.
But yeah, what is that? Beyond Light? Okay. Witch Queen, which was when we were supposed to get stranded, but there was some weird stuff that happened with COVID. That's where you start to get more of the idea about the whole like memory powers and stuff. You deal with Savathun, who is the sister to Oryx, who kind of her whole thing's the Master of Lies. There's a whole books series called the Book of Sorrows, which talks about the Hive's history, which is kind of what I had talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. But there is an extremely intensely it's basically possible that it's all a lie, the entire book series, but it's generally accepted as fact. Her whole thing is that she's like the god of lies and cunning.
Yeah.
So she has her fucking finger in everyone's pie.
Oh, get your fingers out of it.
She got her little chitin mandibles in everybody's pie.
Why? No.
Get out of my pie, bro.
You know what?
What?
I'm gonna put my chitin in their pie.
I'm gonna put my chitin in your pie, dude.
The whole that expansion was the Hive were getting resurrected as guardians, and people are like, "What the fuck's going on?" They're like, they stole the light. That?
They had ghosts.
They thought that they stole the light, but the Traveler just res them, and we're not exactly sure why. I think
everybody deserves resurrection,
except Cade.
Except Cade.
Because he super died.
Because he's alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
He's now Cade 7.
And then Lightfall came. There's some really good stuff with like the story between Witch Queen to Lightfall was like really, really good. The seasonal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of like payoff with like Rasputin, who was like this war mind who was like humanity's like kind of military force. And then yeah, he's like the Russian guy. He's like when he talks, like it's all robot-y and like hard to understand. Yeah. They ended up putting him into like an exo frame, and he was able to communicate and stuff. And that's kind of when you learn about like Clovis Bray made him, because he's like kind of the originator of all this like future tech stuff. Yeah. And Clovis Bray intended to like take over Rasputin and become kind of like god, machine god of humanity, and you stop that because he's like a fucking crazy motherfucker.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Yeah, he's like super fucked up. There's like every like piece of armor or weapon has like a little bit of dialogue to it. There's like armor pieces that are like Clovis Bray. It's like a little like snippet of dialogue, and it's something like him saying like, my grandson was a genetic failure. I'm gonna do better on the next one.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Here, let me see if I can pull it up. I want to find it exactly. Is it this one?
Take. Spicy take. Eugenics? Pretty bad.
Yeah. Is it this one?
Yeah.
Useless that boy is. Nothing I altered in Alton's genetics paid off. Oh well, that's why I have 3 other grandchildren.
Woo!
They named him Alton.
Destiny names are fucking weird.
I love weird names. That's a big thing for me in fiction.
It's a good bit. It's a great bit even, but I'm gonna need him to not.
Knock it off. You're weirding me out.
He's stuck on Europa now. He's just a giant head that does nothing now.
He's stuck on Europa. He's just a big old head.
He's a big old dome.
Whatever.
Do you think Destiny will ever get a big head mode?
Have they done that?
Where they make the heads big?
I feel like that's something they should have done for like a holiday.
For like April Fools or something?
They don't really do any April Fool's stuff. They used to do Valentine's Day stuff, but they don't even do that anymore.
Oh.
They do like something in the summer. They do like a Christmas, a Halloween, and then like an Olympics kind of thing.
Olympics?
Yeah, it's like...
I remember the Olympics.
Yeah, it's like the 3 classes compete against each other and see who gets the highest score, and whoever wins gets a little statue in the tower.
So it's less like Olympics and more middle school field day.
It's field day, except you have to kill a lot of guys. A lot more murder than I remember for field day.
You've never been to a JROTC field day, I tell you what. All we do is beat the shit out of each other.
You missed the best part about the story.
What?
You didn't get to the part where you go to I forget what planet it is, but you meet all the surfer dudes.
Or Lightfall?
Yeah.
Lightfall, I was getting to that. That's the next one. That's the expansion that just came out.
You missed it.
I was working on it. You got sidetracked. Lightfall has a lot of culmination for specific characters. I should mention, along the way, you meet a character, like one of the original raid bosses for Destiny 2. His name's Callus, and he's like an exiled Cabal who used to be their emperor, and he's all like, he's like, get rich off of fat. He's like, get fat, get cool, everything's chill. I love drinking my my wine, blah 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 blah. He was very gluttonous, and I mean, his name's Callus. Like, kind of
Destiny 2 and their Destiny and their names. Look at them.
You deal stuff, but you like go to his thing. He's like, "Oh, I've made a little feast of combat for you." Eventually, over time, you meet. Basically, the Cabal homeworld gets fucked over by another one of the big 3 hive. Her name is Zivu Arath. There's a really fucking cool art piece that calls back to what was it? Faust, I think. And it's like drawn in the same way where there's like this guy with a big cape and a curtain over like a city. Basically, she screwed over their homeworld, is what I'm getting at. And Callus's daughter, her name is Keitel, who is, I think she's named after like the sun in their system. There's like a whole dungeon where you basically go into Callus's brain and you get a little backstory to him and like all of his trauma.
Brain dungeon.
His like big like regret is like fucking up his daughter and being like a piece of shit to her, but he doesn't care anymore. You basically become to an alliance with the Cabal and the Elixir now, so you're kind of friends with some of them. And throughout that season, you do stuff with Keitel, help her deal with her trauma, being like, oh, she looked up to Gaul, who's the guy from the original Destiny 2, who fucked everything over, who like came in and was like, I'm gonna take the shit, and left her there to like be on the homeworld because they need someone there. And she's all like, you fucking left me, I hate you, and they get over that. In Lightfall, Callus is like a disciple, which is basically the big like right or left hands of the Witness. In Witch Queen, you do fight one of them. His name's Rolk. He's been kind of Tumblr sexy mend, I feel like.
What?
He's been one-slurred?
He kind of got one-slurred. He's very thin. He's got a very nice voice. But he's like, his whole story, he's a fucking super badass. He like cut his system's son in half with his fucking glaive. He destroyed his entire fucking species.
He does have Tumblr 6.
What was his name?
Energy.
I'll find a picture.
Did you look him up? Rolk, R-H-U-L-K.
R-H.
He's very slender.
Oh god, yeah. He's got a
And let me get a picture.
fucking Lego brick head.
Let me get a picture of the other one. So we deal with one in this expansion.
I'm sorry, I have to cut you off. He looks like Arsene from Persona 5.
He kind of looks like
He looks
Arsene.
like
Yeah,
Arsene.
I see that, yeah. Nezarec, who was his character, who was teased in Destiny 1 or Destiny 2 in an exotic that like had nothing to do with it, and they somehow built an entire fucking story out of it, which is insane. Is another one of the disciples, and he's got his dad bod instead of Rolk's like the slenderness. He's got like this whole he's a coalescent of like all that like nightmare shit I was talking about. He does a lot of that nightmare power stuff. I fucking lost my shit when like you're going through Lightfall campaign and he talks to you. He's like, by the way, you like hear a voice. I'm like, if that's fucking Nezarec, And I was like, if this is Nezarec, I'm gonna scream. And at the end of the thing that you're doing, he's like, I'm Nezarec. I'm like, oh my god! This is my moment. I've been waiting for this shit. But you end up fighting him in the raid, and he's like another disciple. Callus just kind of doesn't get the cool crab body that they get. He just kind of like gets some armor, but you end up beating Callus in the Lightfall campaign. There's like a whole like. So the Lightfall campaign, while fun, Destiny 2 right now is like really good as a game. It's really fucking fun, but they really fumbled the Lightfall story, and through some leaks and stuff that I've heard and some people that I follow, Lightfall wasn't supposed to be an expansion, and it was supposed to be just one more after Witch Queen, but they kind of separated it. So that's kind of why most of Lightfall ends up being like a training montage for Strand, I think.
Yeah, you
and the Cloud Striders who are like
you
the
mentioned
Surfer Bros.
that COVID messed up the release order in general with like Strand supposed to be last expansion and stuff. That makes sense.
Yeah, especially with like how Witch Queen goes. You do some like stuff that seems very like Strand adjacent. You do this thing called Deep Sight. It also has like crafting for weapons and stuff, but Deep Sight's this whole like I can find memory traces and kind of build stuff off of them, stuff like that. Yeah, Lightfall narratively really dropped the ball. There's some good stuff going on in there, but it's a lot of it makes me sad, but like usually the season can pull it up. I'm excited for the next season because there's some potential payoff from some stuff in the beginning of Destiny 2. But the giant, I have a fascination with large undersea creatures, even though they terrify me.
Yeah.
I love it when stories pay dividends.
Yeah. Destiny does that a lot, actually. Like the Nezarec thing, where I kind of poop myself a little bit.
On a small side note, The Witness, I love how The Witness looks. It looks so fucking cool.
He looks like Megamind.
When Witness speaks, it speaks in like 3-ish different voices.
Hopefully this GIF works. It does. For the listeners, The Witness is a very tall, extremely pale person with really big black eyes, and the top of their head is smoke, but it forms into skulls, and it's just perpetually going. It looks so cool. I'm a big fan of that design.
Mm-hmm. At first, I was like, well, this is kind of a weird design, but it really grew on me. Because like the eyeballs kind of threw me off.
They're very cartoony. They feel almost out like different art style-y, but it like fits. It fits as something otherworldly.
Yes, I think they really hit that well, because for like the Traveler, you just got a ball. That's kind of like a machine.
Even the big ball looks bizarre. You know?
Yeah.
It's like a stationary moon right next to the planet.
Yeah, and like the way the Witness's suit kind of like moves, and like they have this weird like after image to their movements. They're very cool, but it's hard for me to fully like it just because of the way that they did the story stuff within this expansion.
That's fair, yeah.
That it's like, I don't know, there's a lot of things that happen. There's this thing called the Veil and the radial mast, and they're like, we need to stop the radial mast from linking up to the Veil, and everyone kind of talks like they know what the Veil is, but nobody ever explains what the Veil is.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to talk about it in the seasons. I'm like, okay, then like, why is it so important in this expansion? I don't know what's going on, man.
That's how I feel about this Nostradamus stuff.
Chainsaw Man.
Oh, I have to get caught up. I only read a little bit in the second chapter.
It's very good.
Second part, I should say.
It's very good.
I point at Asa and I go, oh my god, she's literally me.
Oh my god, I love it when they're failures, honestly. Losers get me more.
Oh my god, they're such pathetic little things.
I love them.
That is the best kind of story.
Just
Fujimoto
like
does do that well.
Oh, it gets better. It gets better.
It gets better?
It gets
Good.
better.
I know about the zoo part.
The aquarium?
Yeah, sorry, the aquarium.
Yeah.
I like that stuff.
It gets better.
Unfortunately, TikTok has basically fully spoiled it for me at this point. So I know what happens.
Yep.
Destiny doesn't have enough pathetic failures.
Destiny needs more pathetic failures.
There's the little rat guys. The Zur?
Zur? Zur's a pathetic little guy.
Zur's a pathetic looking guy.
Zur's cute, though.
In an endearing way,
Yeah.
He's just in a different place all the time. He's such a bad salesman.
I think I talked about it a little bit. There's a character who's like a more perfected Zur for like the 9 to speak to you. I don't want to get started on the 9 because that's like a marathon path within the darkness.
Ooh.
And then Oni plus what's that other game?
I was gonna say are we gonna get into Bungie as a whole?
Bungie,
Because this
you would
is
have to
something
lead that.
I will if I have to. If you would be fine with it, because I want to spring this on Roma, because I know you have no
What?
idea what we're talking about exactly.
What
Do you want to get into that? Are we do we have more Destiny to go over?
I mean, I could probably talk about just like the core activity, kind of like rotation of how you play the game.
Sure. I mean, the game is a video game.
It is a video game. In this video game, you play as Jonathan Destiny. My favorite line is when you're fighting the Witness and you say, "I will carve my own destiny too." That is okay. Here's the thing. That's actually kind of a plot point.
I'm not gonna believe you.
There is a part in the first raid, Vault of Glass, where you basically they're trying to erase you from the timeline in that raid, the Vex, as you're in their big super facility, and you break out because you're paracausal and they can't kind of predict that because they're machines.
Yeah.
And there's a line when you get the buff, it's called Time's Vengeance, and it says, and this got used because people really like this, and the Bungie was like, wait, this line's actually kind of smart, we're going to use this more. That just says, like, you break out of the thing, and you start your DPS, and it just says, Guardians make their own fate. And
that's kind of
anytime
cool.
I think about that, it, like, actually kind of gives me goosebumps. But they started, like, using that as, like, a thing that, like, main characters would say. They're like, we make our own fate. Because, like, I mean, they kind of literally do. You're paracausal.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know how I got on top of... How did I get to that topic?
I don't know. We were going to talk about how the gameplay works.
Yeah, gameplay works. 3 core activities is Vanguard, which is like your general PvE, go into your strike, which is... I wouldn't call it a dungeon, because there are things in this game called dungeons that are a lot different. They're like... Oh god, I don't even know what to liken it to.
Activities.
I mean, they're all activities?
It's like a classic MMO dungeon.
Yeah, it's like a classic MMO dungeon. You don't have to think.
It's like queuing for a WoW dungeon.
Yeah. Gambit, which is the new one that got added in Forsaken, which is like kill a bunch of ads, get the motes, you pick them up when you kill the stuff, you dunk them. Every so often, a person can go over to the other person's... You're competing against another team. You can jump over, and you can PvP and kill them to like stop them from getting motes or make them lose them when they die, stuff like that. And then
Forgot about
Crucible is just general PvP. And dungeons in this game are like 3-man raids, I'd say. They're basically like a strike, but you actually have to use your brain. And then raids are like raids, like any other game, really.
Great spooky.
Yeah, it's complicated because in a strike, you can use whatever you want. Dungeons, you can generally use whatever you want. But like the real beauty of this game is that there's so many guns, there's so many exotics, which are like your armor pieces that give you abilities that augment your subclasses, as well as the exotic weapons. There's so many like little knobs and buttons that you can press to be like, oh, we're going to do this strategy, but you can use this thing because it's just as good. It's generally a very balanced game, I would say. There are some outliers right now, but you have so many avenues of approach to like different situations right now that you have a lot of freedom, and it's really fun that you have that freedom.
It's cool. It does sound like they're focusing a lot on gameplay.
Yeah, they basically reworked the whole mod system, that you have so many things where you can be like, oh, I want to play this thing, I just gotta go to my armor pieces and change different parts of them for like, oh, this will make me have more of this mechanic, and then this extends the time of that mechanic, and this gives me my super back faster when I do this thing. Stuff like that.
Every time I open up Destiny, it's very fun, but I run out of stuff to do because all the expansions are very expensive still.
Yeah, they consolidated them again, but there's like the pack that's like all the previous expansion, and then it's like kind of like how WoW does it right now, where it's like you have your I won't call it battle chest because they don't call it that anymore, but it's like, oh, every previous expansion comes with like basically the base purchase, and then you have the new one. But Destiny is technically free to play.
Yeah, I was gonna say Destiny 2 is the most expensive free to play game I've ever seen.
I feel like that's a stretch.
Yeah,
Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss, Bungie.
Yeah, I like to describe it. I like to describe Destiny as my favorite game I recommend to nobody. Because like I've played this game for so long, and like my friend Mia will ask me a question, and I'll tell her, I'm like, man, it's been so long. I gotta dig into the back of my brain to give you an answer to that type of thing, because there's just so much stuff. It's so fun, but it's so much work to like kind of get into it. If you're into that grind, go for it. I implore you. I love this game.
When did Destiny 2 come out?
2018?
Destiny 2. I know the original came out in 2014.
2017,
Yeah, it's
excuse me.
Okay, so it's been around for 6 years. That's 6 years of content in there.
I mean, some of it is not in the game right now.
Okay, maybe like 4 years of content in there.
Yeah, I'd say that. There's a lot to do. I still have to get me like the exotic quests to get like cool weapons and like useful stuff, or just to do them again because they're fun.
And I mean, at the end of the day, it's still space super soldier dress up game.
Yeah.
Which
Oh
is
my
always
god!
good.
Don't get me started on the fashion.
Oh my god, my dress up guardian.
I've seen your cowboy.
You like my
running
fucking
right now.
cowboy? I got my Hawkman. I got stuff like that. I got pirate outfits, man. I got so much shit.
Your cowboy man has Riz.
Right? I'm like, I
Riz.
need to make him look dusty and gross as possible. I mean, there's like a McDonald's shader, like a Ronald McDonald one, I think, in here. Where is it?
Oh, I'm sure you could be awful looking if you wanted to.
No, it's not that one.
Oh, that
It's not this
for
one. though.
listeners, he's streaming the game for us to see.
Oh my god, where is it? Yeah, depending on like some. Yeah, there it is, the Ronald McDonald one.
Oh, that's so bad.
There's some really like. I have to find the ones for Titan because there's like a chess piece from that first raid, that makes you like gargantuanly fat.
I love it.
Yeah. I found it. I'll put it in the chat for us to look at.
Underneath all of the memes of.
Ooh,
Rolf.
that's a big boy. Oh, but,
Like you can look disgusting.
wait, it doesn't scale properly with the arms.
no,
He
it's
has
just that
stubby
big.
arms.
It is just that big.
It's just stubby arms.
I got a big head and little arms.
Little arms.
Okay. Do you want to get in the bungee?
Is it time?
We've hit
wanna-
we hit the 1 hour mark and we're gonna start a whole new
The,
topic.
the bungee thing, I feel like we could surface talk it, but that's like a whole episode.
That's what I want to do. I just want to go over the surface of it because I feel like it's something that I don't feel like is so fucking cool and no one talks about.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
All right, so Roma, I have a question for you.
Oh no.
You ever play a Halo?
Yeah. I have a story about that. This will perfectly encapsulate my knowledge of Halo.
Go for it.
All I know is you run around in dusty ass place and shoot. I would play PvP with my neighbor who lived down the street. Unfortunately for my neighbor, I was a dumb teen, and every time I would lose, I'd hit him in the thigh with the Xbox controller.
Oh God.
Oh,
I
that
was an
sounds familiar.
asshole.
Nah, I was. Yeah.
Do you remember which Halo that was?
No. I was in high school.
Two or probably
Probably-
3 then, right?
It was before the 1 came out, so Xbox 360.
So it's 3. Yeah, probably 3.
Yeah.
Probably 3. 3 was the most popular one.
Mm-hmm.
But those games, as we said, were made by Bungie.
Bungie.
Bungo.
In what was it? 2009,
Yikes.
Bungie released Halo 3 ODST, which is a game obviously in the Halo universe, but like you're not playing as Mr. John Halo.
Oh
That's
no.
that joke is funny on 2 levels because his real name is John
AKA John Destiny.
Master Chief.
John Halo.
Instead,
cock.
you're playing. It's a small story with a small group of people who are ODSTs and et cetera, et cetera. Basically, the story is you going around a city, piecing together a story of what happened to your squad.
To sexy smooth jazz in the cold rain.
It's got the
the
soundscape of
atmosphere.
that game.
Holy crap.
Riz.
Anyway, that was in 2009, and as we've posted in the Discord, there was a poster in the city that you could find if you want to check the channel real quick that says "Destiny Awaits," and it's a picture of Earth with a little white ball next to it.
Bruh. They did not.
Yeah.
They did so much of this.
It goes further.
Oh,
So
God.
that was 5 years before Destiny came out. Before that, so I think the listener can all piece together. What you need to know about Halo is that you follow John Master Chief, John Halo, and he's the coolest guy.
Doesn't afraid of
whoever it
anybody.
Doesn't afraid of anything, fights aliens,
Joe Halo.
big badass. Before Halo, Bungie made a series called Marathon, which this is where a lot of the common knowledge of it ends, that Marathon existed.
Never heard
Marathon it's like an old school shooter, like
Doom, like original Doom, you can think of.
original Doom. It like they didn't have a proper 3D engine, but they faked it enough to make look 3D. That's how old.
Yeah.
Look at them go. Resourceful.
In that series, if you go back with the knowledge of Halo, you see like this coalition of aliens are just like the Covenant in Halo, and this is this and this is that. Everything kind of leads into one another with Marathon and Halo, to the point that there's references between the two all the time, with like even major story points with like an AI going rampant over after 7 years with Cortana and Durandal. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But in Marathon, a lot of the story is through like text-based consoles that you can open up. And a lot of it, very, very broad strokes. But if you piece things together, there's a story of an elder god entity who made an AI that kind of formed into a human that is like the spirit of a perpetually resurrecting hero.
Mm-hmm.
That is it like there's like a part of a console that describes how I was Beowulf, I was King Arthur, I was Alexander the Great, etc. It's like going back all these different stories.
Bruh.
And like then you learn your character in Marathon is like passively jumping between timelines because he's kind of an all-knowing god entity.
Yeah, the messed up thing about that last game is like you start like repeating levels and you're like, what's going on?
Yeah, it just starts to happen. It starts to just gaslight you into thinking you've been here already, but you're bending the universe to your will.
It's like one of the first like you are a player type of things. Like you are playing a video game and like you as the player are this person. That makes sense? Or like not really a fourth wall break, but kinda.
We are Xehanort.
It's like the idea of a hero in the first place.
Yeah.
I'm a hero.
And I think it's supposed to be like the player is like the elder god of like you control this person and you make them a hero type of thing.
There's a guy who has a website, I don't remember it off the top of my head, but he's been trying to piece together the full story of Marathon since it came out, and he's still going. That's how crazy this shit gets. But after Marathon 1 and before Marathon 2, there was another game, Pathways into Darkness, that is like World War II, Richard Nixon or whatever sends you to a forest in
It's a
the
jungle.
Amazon.
It's a jungle, yeah.
Whatever. And to find this thing, it's like an elder god that never hatched.
The aliens tipped him off to this, by the way.
The aliens that we then learn are the aliens in Marathon.
They're like, hey,
tipped
dude,
them off.
Mr. Nixon, check the jungle.
But even before Pathways into Darkness, the very, very, very first game that Bungie made as a company is called Gnop, which is just the word Pong backwards. And in that game, as Pong does, you are a paddle, and you knock a ball between yourself and another paddle. It's Pong. But with all of the context, people are like, that is a giant white ball that is bouncing between different places. That's the fucking Traveler.
Bruh.
You should.
That's wild.
Are you gonna recommend them to watch? Who you should say?
Watch Mandalore. Mandalore,
Please.
he has a very good series on all of the Marathon games with its own voice acting for the different
Keanu,
terminals.
He does a lot of Twitter voice acting stuff. He voices Gabriel in Ultra Kill and a bunch of other games. You had him on board to voice Darendal. It's great. It's really funny.
It's really good. There's in like custom art and animations to describe shit and also like emphasize the horror, but they're also just in general really good like reviews of the games. Because like even aside from all this, they're all really influential games.
Mm-hmm.
Marathon 2 is technically the first ever game, first person shooter to have dual wielding, and it's only technically the first because the other game that it competes with was released on the very same day.
Bruh.
So that's my tangent.
A lot of those things are in Destiny 2. Like the Halo pistol.
There's the Halo pistol. There's Alex mentioned earlier the description of items. There's a few items that have descriptions that are from Marathon and reference like happenings in Marathon. So it's like that reincarnated hero went from the paddle in Pong through Beowulf and King Arthur and Alexander the Great to being John Halo to now being John Destiny.
John Master Duel.
John Master Chief Destiny.
Yeah, speaking of, by the way, if you like Halo, you might like Destiny because you can get the battle rifle.
Question.
What's up?
Completely off topic. Mr. UnStuffed Crust.
That's me.
Can you please do the torture dance?
I don't own it, but I can show you it.
Ah!
Hold on, I can whip it out. Hold on.
For context, listeners, we are all JoJo fans here. And if you listen are not a JoJo fan, then this will mean nothing to you. But in part 5 of JoJo,
Part 5.
there is a scene called the torture dance. Google it; it's lit. And they added it to the Destiny 2 called the torturous dance, and it it gives me so much.
The description even says vocal percussion on a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
Coming
Yeah,
through my
the future of
mind.
video games, Destiny does. There was also a. You remember this reference? Remember this movie?
Oh, that's Road to El Dorado.
Road to El Dorado. There is a lot.
The flamenco dance.
There's side eye emoji.
Side eye.
Devious side eye.
There's a touch grass.
So
No.
Destiny 2 has it all. It has everything from perpetually reincarnating elder entity that is called Eero, which is the word hero, to also the funny torture dance from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah.
And Fortnite.
And Fortnite.
Fortnite is in Destiny.
Yeah, you got the armor lock in this game.
Oh my god, it's just armor lock.
Goodness.
Is there anything else?
I'm let's see. I need to know, do you have okay, bear with me here. Bear with me. I have to know. So I think almost every episode of this season I have zeroed in. I have put on my heat seeking sensors for the baby girl of the topic we're talking about. Can you please tell me with your words right now, please tell me who the baby girl of Destiny 2 is, please? Thank you.
It's Drifter again.
Can we see Drifter?
I'll walk over to Drifter. Hold on.
I will put a picture of Drifter Destiny 2 in the Discord.
Drifter is kind of he's pretty pathetic.
Oh, he's the guy from the trailer that goes, oh no, he's the guy from the memes.
Yeah, there was the Destiny meme on TikTok for a while with the coin flip, and he goes like, "Ooh."
Yeah, flips the coin and go, ooh. I didn't know that was that guy.
Yeah, that's him. I like him. They haven't used him in a little while. But I really like him. He's very he's like, yeah, I killed like all my friends to like survive on a frozen wasteland type of guy.
I looked up Drifter Destiny 2, and one of the top results was an Amazon link to buy Drifter and Cade 6 as rubber duckies.
Yeah, they got rubber ducks.
I need him. That made me actively go, ah!
They're like the if you ever seen like the Leon Kennedy like rubber duck, yeah, they have like really serious faces.
Do you think?
Elsie Bray, my
Never
beloved.
mind. You mentioned Leon Kennedy, and immediately I thought about his tramp stamp and whale tail.
That's all I
Now
think about is the Leon Kennedy
the
tramp stamp.
Drifter. How am I supposed to give the Drifter a whale tail when he's?
He doesn't get like Eris Morn and Drifter. Like Eris Morn gives him the strap for sure.
Hey, oh.
Yo, I was gonna say Drifter looks like the kind of guy with a tramp stamp.
Maybe I could buy it.
I could see it. You look at his beard and tell me that man does not have a tramp stamp.
He never tells you his real name, I think, either. He's cool.
What? No, we don't need it. His name's Baby Girl.
His name's Drifter Baby Girl.
Baby Girl had parentheses Drifter. Can I tell you a wild story from my high school days about tramp stamps?
Sure.
All right, this is a good segue.
So I had a math teacher, Mr. Sarah, and Mr. Sarah was trying to make learning cool. And he was very funny. He was actually very funny, and I very much liked Mr. Sarah. But Mr. Sarah was telling us about the sexiest equation that ever existed. Like, this equation is so sexy, and mathematicians love this equation so much that if you were to get it as a tramp stamp, as a tattoo just above your butt crack, that mathematicians would just fall head over heels for you. And I was like, what?
What?
And
Bro?
You want to know what equation it is?
What?
The quadratic formula.
I thought about it. I thought about moaning.
Why? What about it is I don't get it.
It's just useful, I suppose. I do. That's all I got. But just so you know, so is Drifter good at math?
No, no.
Is
Does Drifter know that ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0?
Does he look like he does? I don't think
Where
so.
where a, b, and c are coefficients of real numbers
No!
and not 0?
Stop! No, you know I have dyscalculia. Don't talk to me.
you saying does it look like he does made an actual stream of snot come out of my face.
Well, I don't think they ever mentioned it, but he could imply. He could imply with body language
Sometimes
that
they
he knows the
talk about
quadratic
shit
formula.
like that. By the way, Destiny 2 always has really good names, like Riven's Armpits in my friends list.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I saw jelly beans earlier.
It's cross-platform, so you see the funny Xbox names.
For a Destroyer. Not that good.
And it's also on Steam, so you see people just changing their name to whatever they fucking want.
I don't know if you can still do it. There was like a point in time where you couldn't change it anymore, but there's a lot of like just goofy names, like a lot of title type names. There's definitely, I think there's a Twitter account that still does it, that like just posts pictures of people's names.
I remember I used to see that a lot around, but now it's just not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta find that again. It was funny.
And there's like a prefix for weapons that calls them time lost. And it's like, people will just make jokes off of that. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Or like, it's like, their name will be like my virginity, parenthesis, time lost, parenthesis.
Oh, God.
Just shit like that.
Oh my god.
Classic MMO linking and ability name humor.
No, Baron's chat,
In trade chat.
Do you think the Chuck Norris, when he does a push-up, he actually pushes the world?
Jesus Christ.
No, Jesus Christ would lose to Chuck Norris.
I'm gonna... Are we done?
Let's wrap it up.
My cat would not lose to Chuck Norris.
True.
That's true.
Chuck Norris is like 80 years old. He can't fight shit anymore.
He just needs to lay down. I've learned a great deal today about Destiny 2. You have activated a gremlin inside of me that's like, do I have enough memory on my PC to download this?
It's like 100. It's like more than 100 gigs right now.
Oh, I do
Oh,
not.
we should also quick mention that the Zavala thing.
Oh yeah. So the voice actor for Zavala has been Lance Reddick, and he passed away recently. It was very sudden, I think. It was some kind of cardiac issue, I believe. But his wife mentioned, I don't know if I should bring this up. It's just like a thing to donate in his honor.
Like
I just remember seeing when it happened, there was pictures all over of like everyone walking up to Zavala and like kneeling.
Yeah, yeah. And there was
It was really sad.
A character died recently too, and you have to he just passes away, and like the week that happens, you have to hear him grieving, and it's really fucking rough.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
I just thought the community reaction to it was very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
rest in peace.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard listening to because I believe all of his lines are still recorded, and they're going to use them all, I assume. But it's gonna be hard.
I'm sure they'll do something. They'll do something nice for him.
Yeah, I mean, we got a Cade statue right here. He's alive, so I don't know why that's there.
He's alive.
Oh, there's a chicken.
Chippin'.
Cade 6
Grab
never
it.
dies. He's just missing in action.
Oh, here, I can grab it. Hold on.
Oh.
Chicken pet emote. It's called poultry petting.
Yeah. There's
Wait, what was spicy ramen?
winter chicken dinner.
Oh my god.
Cade 6 liked ramen.
He would. That's what living people do.
Ah! Cut it off. We're done.
I have two questions. One, how long do you think you have left on this hyperfixation? Is this going to be a lifelong passion of yours?
Destiny?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in it for the long haul at this point.
Are you going to do the thing, that TV show, the anime, where the guy was in the MMORPG on the last day before it shuts down and he got stuck in it?
Are you going to sort out online?
No, not Sword Art Online, the other one.
That's
with
Overlord, right?
Skeleton. Yeah, are you going to Overlord it?
God, I wish I could. I mean, this game's bleak as hell lately. It's like, hey, we're all gonna die. Very recently, go stay with your loved ones since we're fucked anyways. Or we're gonna keep fighting, I guess. So yeah, I'm in it for the long haul.
Hell yeah. Now, will there be a Destiny 3?
general consensus is that is not going to happen, and if they do it, I believe Bungie's going to make it in a way that like all your stuff would be able to carry over in some amount.
Okay.
From what they've said right now, it seems like it's going to be just Destiny 2 for the future. They said after this saga ends with this next expansion, they have more stories to tell, more stuff to do.
Okay. Good.
At least that's some comfort.
Yep.
You know,
like brain security of I'm not wasting my time.
it'll be worth it. It'll be
worth it. No, it's been worth it. This game is very worthwhile. My only issue with Destiny, just because of the nature of it not being fully like an MMO, being like an MMO light, is I haven't really made like a friend through Destiny that I like talk to. You know?
Mm.
Yeah, but that's another issue of like voice chat and like does not matchmaking and the harder stuff.
Cross-platform probably doesn't. I mean,
it does not help. I've told you the story. I did the raid the other week, and like the dude's getting yelled at by his mom in the background about joining the military. I'm like, what's happening right now? And everyone else is like, just ignore it. I'm like, I can't, man.
Ignore the Xbox gamer tags.
XX death pool god XX.
Bruh.
We were all there once.
You're damn right.
Shut up.
You can say
don't
mine.
dox
You
me.
can say mine.
I'm cutting that. How do we end these?
If we have, I think we did our last tangent with the Bungie content, so I think now, I have no more questions. Do you have more questions?
I'm satisfied.
Mr. Unstuffed Crust, do you have any questions for us?
Let me know if you want me for the Bungie episode.
I mean, obviously.
Oh,
Season
God.
4, let's go.
Maybe season 4.
Oh, Lord.
I have to keep it up as a running bit that every episode that I'm hyperfixating, it has to be a sad sci-fi. So maybe
It's a trend. It's a
trend. The album kind of counted.
Yeah, if you need someone to hype
did.
you up for Mass Effect, I can be there too.
They don't know yet.
Wait, I'm
Anyway.
pretty sure we did say that was going to be a later thing.
Yeah, we definitely talked about that earlier.
Can you imagine Kingdom's trying to talk about Mass Effect for like an hour or more, and then there's just 4 of us just ragging on them the entire time?
That'd be usual with this guy around.
You like Quarians, you little freakazoid?
Lions are cool.
They're like the worst choice. Are you pro Genophage, you little freak?
No, they have nothing to do with the Genophage. You
I know, I'm
Turian.
changing the subject.
Turian lover.
Hey,
Anyway.
hot. Turns are hot.
Okay. I vote that this is the opening bit for your Mass Effect episode. This whole
Yeah,
conversation.
splice this up and save it.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Just chop it. One end to the other. That's the bit.
Okay, but like real question, I don't remember how to end these. Help.
Well, Mr. Unstuffed Crust, where do people find you on the internet?
True, that's what you say. That's what you're supposed to
Oh,
say.
shit. Wait, so it's my fault that this wasn't ending right?
No, I forgot. That
Oh.
was the line. That was my line.
On Twitter is really all I got right now. So I'm just at Unstuffed Crust. I think I'm called Cheeseburger right now. I got the funny cat with the big eyes.
Cheeseburger.
E-burger.
Yeah, I like cheeseburgers.
E-burger.
I retweet cat pictures a lot and cat videos.
You know what? I'm here for it. Honestly.
That's all I got anymore, man.
And then if they want to find you on Destiny 2, where can they find you?
Yeah, what's your Destiny handle?
It's Unstuffed Crust again.
That's crazy.
But it's really just my Steam, I guess, which is, guess what? Unstuffed Crust.
And then now like 700 people want to play Destiny with you.
I'll fucking take it. I'd love to teach people how to play this game.
It'd be fun.
You just got a whole posse of people just wrecking the server everywhere you go.
That'd be fun.
I think that. Is there anything else you would like to plug? Are you on the words?
I'll plug that Mass Effect episode when that comes out. Maybe you'll see me again.
Maybe.
Or hear me again.
What are you doing on Saturday?
Working.
Saturday night?
I'm not working Saturday night.
Okay. We'll keep you posted.
What?
Be a big party.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta edit it. Oh my god. I'm here. I'm vibing. So you can find me on the internet. I appreciate your butt at the twitter.com. That is IAPPRECI, the number 8 URBUTT, where 1, I love your ass. 2, I don't shut up. Will be tweeting. You could also find me there on TikTok, but I don't post on my personal TikTok because I post on the Hyperfix TikTok more than everything, where you can find that at the Hyperfix Pod on the TikToks and the Twitter and the Tumblrs. And am I doing any other projects right now? I don't know.
We'll find out.
Wink at the camera.
Wink.
That's it. Wink. Kissy face.
Wink.
It's not a promise, it's just a
I
wink.
shake my ass a little bit at the microphone.
I am Tachyon Kingdom, TACHYON Kingdom on Twitter, and that's it. I don't go anywhere else. I made a TikTok once. It got like 8 likes, and I thought I was really funny, but that's it.
Oh yeah, I have a TikTok!
You want to plug your TikTok?
Yeah, you want to see my cats? What's my TikTok? It's UnStuffed butt instead of Crust.
Yo, that's inappropriate.
We're definitely...
Wait, you're matching.
Yeah, we should make a what are they called when you're a group of people in a clan? No.
A circle?
A group, a troop. Butt troop?
Butt troop? It's like
A
the
butt
goof
troop?
troop, but
boot troop.
But goof
Booty
troop.
troopy?
Woo. Wait, that's wrong.
All right, listeners, I need you to at me on Twitter and come up with a good nickname for a group of people with butt-related usernames. Safe for work.
give us some puns.
Safe for work.
Thank you to Offuscate at OFUSKATE for the intro and outro music. You can find them on Twitter, Instagram, and SoundCloud. And also, thank you to the Moonshot Network. You can find them at twitch.tv/Moonshot Network, twitter.com/Moonshot Pods, or you can support them on Patreon and all the podcasts in the network at patreon.com/Moonshot Network. Our patrons for this month who get a shout out on the podcast are Ver, Becky Scott Fairley, Ken, and Flo. Thank you so much for y'all's support and keep being awesome. Fuck, I love you guys.
Do we have an outro bit, or are we just doing the classic?
Do you want to do your own one? Do you want to make it? Do you want to carve? Do you want to be like Moses and part the podcast audio mono?
Do you want to make your own Destiny 2?
Yeah.
Be safe, drink water, don't die, and carve your own Destiny 2. Badoo.
Put the soundboard. Put the.
You don't have the soundboard.
Lights. Camera. Adaptations. Ever watched your favorite book become a movie and said, well that certainly was a weird decision? Of course you have. Hollywood is constantly making changes for their adaptations, and this podcast aims to answer the question of why. Join host Emma Shannon and a different guest every month on Unnatural Selection, a new Moonshot Network podcast, as they talk about a film, its source material, and what makes an adaptation good, faithful, and less commonly, good and faithful. Check out episode 1, coming to a podcatcher near you on February 15th.